the refresh. All right, I'm live. That's been a minute, literally almost a year and a half. So it's recording, and I'm gonna wait for people to start trickling in. All right, I see y'all coming in. Hey y'all, hey. Your girl is back, kinda, a little bit. See y'all trickling in for the birthday shenanigans. Come on in. Come on in. I don't know about Brandon, but this is an intersection mug if y'all want one. And this is a Dope Day t-shirt if y'all want one of them too. Just hit me up. All right. So, we're a couple minutes in. Shall we go ahead and get started? Y'all know I got my production team, aka the Fam Bam, in the background helping me pull this all together. So let's go ahead and get it popping. Just play. Yeah, just hit play. All right, I don't want Jay to sue me, so you can go ahead and hit pause on that. Just let y'all know that that's the theme music for me. I was sitting around with my wife one day thinking about what this birthday celebration was going to look like, and it was the lyric from Encore that hit me. When I come back like Jordan wearing the 4-5. And I was like, I might have turned 45 before. This might be the first time, depending on who tells the story. But I'm gonna go ahead and take this as the one, and I'm gonna go ahead and celebrate this to the fullest. So my big brother says, happy birthday, little sis. Incredible that you're 45. So it must be true. I must actually be 45. And so since he used to take care of me, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. This is 45. So I have some requests coming in, got some guests coming on. Before we get there, let me go ahead and allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Malika. Hopefully you started singing that in your head. My name is Hove, H to the, okay, maybe it's just me. Clearly there's a theme here, so just roll with that. So my name is Malika, Pifely Salam. I do a lot of things. Mostly, I just do my best to make every day a dope day. It's not always pretty, it's not always easy, but I do my best. So, this started 5 years ago on my daughter's birthday, and I have a habit of starting stuff on her birthday, which was not always a present to her. So, in order to balance things out, I started it this year on my birthday. And it's actually a gift to myself and hopefully a gift to some of you. So thank you for joining me. Now, where have I been for the last, like 18 months that I haven't been on the socials? Figuring stuff out, getting myself together, living my personal life, doing what I can do best. And what have I been doing? Let's see, I was teaching. I got a yoga certification, a women's facilitation group certification. I was raising children. I was strengthening myself, therefore strengthening my marriage, strengthening and cultivating friendships. I took a break from social media, and even though I'm doing this on social media, This is not going to be mainly where I'm at, because one of the things that I discovered in that time is that I really like cultivating relationships outside of this space. I really like cultivating relationships that aren't about sound bites and perfectly cultivated conversations. So what we're going to do today, I have several of my friends who are joining me, and we are going to have conversations that are going to begin the conversations that will be on the intersection this season for you to listen in on. So there's three things that I want to say before I start inviting people in. And there are three agreements. So first agreement, keep it cute. And by that, I mean, just treat people with kindness and respect. Whether you agree or don't agree, there's no need to be unkind to anyone. Agreement number two, I do not have all the answers. I'm not even going to pretend that I got all the answers for you. I don't even have all the answers for myself. And I have guests who have a number of titles and who have done have done immense work, have letters behind their name. They may not have all the answers for you either. The goal here is to allow you to listen in on a conversation and have that conversation be a way for you to take a look at things and maybe even start to unpack some things. Which leads us to agreement number three. You may experience some discomfort. I would like for you to accept that, for you to expect that, and for you to also understand that there may be some non-closure. You may not leave this space knowing everything that you need to know or that you think you need to know, but hopefully it'll get you started on your research. So having said that, I want to begin to invite my guest on. Shout out to all of y'all who have been popping up. Guest friends, I see you. I see your request. And I'm going to start inviting you in. We have a little bit of a timeline we're going to follow. So the first guest that I am going to invite is going to be my wife, Sam P, the producer. Some of you have not seen her before because she's usually behind the camera. And I'm super protective of my family. So I don't, my kids are famous, so they be doing their own thing on the internet, getting views and whatnot. But, I've been real protective about putting my family out there because I know that some people can be unkind and they didn't sign up for that. So, hey Sam.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So this is our first time on camera together.
It is our first time.
But we've been doing this show and you've been producing for me for 5 years.
Right.
So here we are. At the intersection of what?
We have many intersections.
Facts.
I think the one that we are most mindful of every day is our lesbian interracial relationship.
Yeah.
Because even though you think in this day and age everybody would accept everybody, we still sometimes get looks. Not as much as when we first were together and they're like, are you together? Is this on one check or two check? let me ring up your stuff separate from your stuff at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we've been at this for 7 years. And in the 7 years, from place to place, it's changed. But we still get the looks. We still get is this on one check? What would you say? So at this intersection of our identities and our lives and how things have changed, you became a mom of teenage, almost adult kids. What was that like?
I'm going to be honest. The kids are great, so it was a very easy transition in that way. As far as the interracial part, Amina and I experienced some very negative interactions at Walmart. I can remember one off the top of my head. And I feel like there was other ones as well because they didn't recognize us as being together. Again, like when you and I are out, the kids are great. The kids, being a mom, I feel like I got past all. I didn't have to do diapers. I didn't have to do all the
some of the folks out here did though. Some of the folks out here had diapers and terrible twos.
Even though Amina was in middle school, actually I can credit Amina for the reason why I actually felt comfortable coming out at school because she felt very comfortable calling me mom and saying that's my mom, and so it was kind of an easy thing for me to go, yes, I am.
So, all right.
Trying to see if
So,
it's
okay.
okay. I mean, there we go. I can hear. Okay. So,
Oh, Lord Jesus.
all right.
See that going my bad.
Okay.
All right.
I mean,
Zan, are you there? Okay, so Zan is there. We're going to wait for Zan to come on screen. There's a little feedback loop, so you can turn off the volume there.
Oh,
All
it's
right,
not
there
me.
she is.
Homie, let me turn down my computer. I was in here on my computer saying that we missed it right after Sam was saying that it was Amina's comfort with calling her mom that allowed her to feel comfortable being out at school. And then it got real juicy, and we the rest.
So
I guess
the
we'll
part
say
that it
that
got
for
juicy
another
on,
time.
ironically,
Let
is
me
the
delete
part
my
that my
comment.
dad called in to wish me a happy birthday, and then that
Okay.
threw off the sound. And I was like, "Daddy, come!" He's on Instagram. He followed me on Instagram, so just go hit the live and throw
Turn
the
on
happy birthday
that.
comments. Throw it in the comments, and then we gonna talk because I gotta get the story. Because he calls and tells me my birthday story every year, which I love, and I be in tears every time. So the last part, the juicy part, and then we're gonna swap out.
The juicy part was basically our families, embracing us as a couple. Your family was wonderful. Was like, oh, your family.
Yeah.
Which
Hey, listen,
daughter, hey.
Let me let y'all know that I was not sure. So some of you who've known me for years have known, like, I've identified as queer for as long as I can remember, but I had not had that conversation with my family. And so I brought Sam to my niece's wedding, and that was the first time I introduced her to my family, and nobody batted an eye. They were like, cool, you happy, we happy. Jump in these pictures, let's have a good time. It's a taco bar. I was like, that's how I know we related, because it's a taco bar at the reception. So we all had a good time. And then we went to her graduation, and my brother came, and we were all just sitting there talking, and I hadn't introduced her as my girlfriend at the time. And he was like, so later on we had a conversation. He was like, well, have you had this conversation with anybody else? I mean, like, we knew, but you ain't never really said anything. He was like, have you talked to Daddy? And I was like, I don't know if I can talk to Daddy. It's rules and regulations in the family. And he was like, Daddy's done a lot of stuff. What is he gonna say? Like, he was like, would you like me to start that conversation for you? And just the love and support that I felt has made it possible for me, one, to continue being extremely protective of my family. Like, don't come for none of them. Because please understand that the incense and tea will get pushed aside immediately for the tequila and Black and Milds. Like, we're not even playing those games around here. But also the love and support of my family has made it possible for me to just feel like I could be my authentic self and do this whole birthday celebration and invite my friends in to celebrate with me. So
we will be talking more at a later date about these intersections.
Yes.
But we have lots of guests to get to.
We do have lots of guests. And look, being a producer, so she's gonna get back to producing, and we're gonna get back to guesting.
Time for your co-host original to join us.
All right. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
All right. Look who it is. It's look your face. Your face.
You know what? I have to stop asking why is she like this, because
you did
it's
make
very
her,
clear.
You made her.
Right. It's very clear if you know us. So let's do the introductions this way. You introduce Auntie Zan, and then Auntie Zan, will you introduce Amina? Awesome. You do that. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm nervous. I'm sorry. This is a lot of pressure. Wow. Oh.
What? Listen, my immediate response was to be, again, why are you like this? But I can't.
Oh, for real?
Because I know why.
What?
Because I know.
Zandria Felice Robinson. Okay,
my government name.
The
Zandria Felice Robinson. Can we get into that?
Can we get into Jesus? Never mind. I'm not doing the introduction. This is why I can't do it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Author,
Oh
ethnographer, educator. I mean, the list goes on. There's not much more I can say.
Healer, wise woman, mother to herself, and so many others.
And so many others.
My bad. I'm supposed to be doing this.
This is so beautiful because I just cannot believe I mean, first off, shout out to the decorations.
Right? we ourselves.
I am really excited about the decorations.
Yes.
I'm so excited to be here and to introduce my niece, Amina Banks. Wilhelmina, the co-host of the Intersection Podcast, creator, chocolate girl wonder, TikTok star, knower and archiver of all things Black 90s. And we seeing the vibes today. And shit, more than anything, my daughter's best friend that just keep everything flowing. It takes a village part
Listen.
of the thing.
Listen.
And the village has many generations.
Listen.
It takes a village. So I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. So Zan, my friend, my sister, listen, gatherer of Malika on a regular basis, holder up of mirrors and machetes. I'm so appreciative that you took the time out.
Yes,
to
of
do
course.
this.
Happy
Because,
fucking birthday. Happy
listen,
solar return.
You know how I feel
45.
about birthdays. You know I feel like birthdays are a major celebration.
9 times 5. I'm with it.
Listen, can we get into it for a minute? Because this 4-5 is a 9. And I grew up learning supreme mathematics, and a 9 is born, and your girl feel born this year. Like, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. It's like
honestly,
mathematics.
So again, these conversations are opening for the larger conversation we're going to have. And I think that's probably the intersection that we have found ourselves at. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our conversations have been about the most recently is giving birth to self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's hard when you're a mom. Because mothering is so much about the other. Physically, if you're physically giving birth, you're physically getting this other being out of your body after, nurturing it, and your focus becomes that. And it's not just what happens to your body, it's also just how society speaks to us about what mothering is. So you get subsumed and erased when you're doing that. It's why now, like, our daughters are the ages where their friends are having babies, and when they have a baby shower, I'm getting something for the mom.
Yep.
I ain't getting shit for that baby.
Listen,
I love the babies. Plenty of other people will get stuff for the babies, but if the mom is not situated in herself and be able to connect to and feel herself, then that's going to be a problem for everybody. And I mean, I feel like these are things that you and I talk about all the time. We're constantly trading back and forth, like, hey, how are you creating yourself? How are you mothering yourself? How are you doing it? I'm checking in with you and I feel like you're not doing it. And so just staying on that track. And of course it's hard as Black women to do this because people don't think you're a good mom, period. And then, but also they want you to mother everything, whether it's at work or some random ass kids in the street. It's just like, wait a minute. So, and then there's this whole like messaging about not being selfish. Are you, if you are doing something for yourself, like giving birth to yourself or mothering yourself or whatever, like that's not community focused. I feel like that's another set of messages that's out there. So I definitely, like, your mothering has always been such an example to me, not just how you mother others and how you are a bio mother and other mother to so many people in our community, you know, my kids, everybody else's kids, somebody, you know, not just that, but just, you know, how you are constantly like, oh no, I'm finna create myself again. I'm finna give birth to myself again. And like, this is such a marvelous celebration of that. And I think as a ritual, it's just such a good reminder for us of what we need to be doing out here, each and every day, giving birth to ourselves, especially femmes and women and queer people. We giving birth to ourselves is so important when shit is trying to kill us all the time.
Listen, over and over and over again, I just have to say, one, it is always, like, I'm always taken aback and so honored whenever you say something about like me mothering or being an example, because sis, know that that is very much reciprocal. Like, this is me holding up the mirror. Like you said, we trade this information all the time, and I appreciate that you're such a truth teller, that you will ask me the difficult questions that you know, you're not telling me like, Malika, this is what I'm seeing. You're like, hey, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you to sit with this.
Socrates, that's the Socrates.
Right. Let me ask you to sit with this. Let me ask you to process this. Like, what are you thinking about this? Okay, no. I know the ego said, but dig a little bit deeper. And the benefit of that for me, really, the thing I have the most, like, deepest appreciation for is that that's what love looks like to me. Mm-hmm. It looks like being in a container where I feel safe enough to continue doing this work, being surrounded by people who are honest with me, and create space for me to continue doing this work. So
we need you to do it. We need you to do it, and we need you to do it in the biggest and boldest and most creative and wonderful way. So anything that I can do, my family can do to support that, like, because of all the support you've given to us, it's not even enough that we can do to give back to you, to just like reflect how important you are to us.
So I'm gonna pause you for a second because these dogs gonna get to barking. The male child.
Turn up.
Right.
They said
this
yes.
man.
They said yes. They said I say. What's up, Kanye? What's up?
So Peter's gonna join us. And I'm gonna add another person online. So hang out with us for another minute. Come on, Pete.
Hey y'all. Hey.
What's up, Pete?
What's up? What? No, he's good. He is good.
All right, we cool. Sup? Had to get shot real quick.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I am.
Simba says, I want to be on the show.
Right, I'm adding a couple of people. Let's go ahead and get these couple of people in here. All right, so this young man, down and sign in. Get close like we related. Oh my God, a family.
There we go. Hi, my favorite people.
Hey, Ryan.
You look lovely today, darling.
Ooh.
Right,
So
she did.
Yes. I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to turn this hoe on, so I'm so glad.
All right, Pete, I see you. I see you.
Right. Young Vince over here. It's recess time, ain't it?
Oh.
Listen, the
I
whole
can't
Memphis
be
just came out. The whole Memphis. Squarehead little boy. Okay, I'm done. All right, so we've added 2 more people to the mix because it's the birthday party. So now I have my sister Ryan and my son Keneen. So you want to introduce Auntie Ryan, or Auntie Ryan, you want to introduce young Bull over here? Because I just started watching young Bull.
So introducing the one and only what I call him, if your nephew don't trust you. because he is one of the kindest, purest spirits I have ever met. And if he don't trust you, I really might hurt you. He's multi-talented. I am amazed all the time at the things he comes up with, even the jokes he comes up with too.
Listen, because what y'all don't know, y'all think me and Amina because
He is a sneaky humor. He is a sneaky. the magnificent Kaneen is quite
the magnificent,
also known as Pete to those who love him.
Right.
You can't call him Pete unless he say you can call him Pete.
Okay.
We got our permission slips out.
And all of it. And of course,
I didn't even know the boy name was Kaneen. It was about 5 years later. I was like, who is Malika talking about? Kaneen. I didn't know she had another son.
Zan was like, where the other baby? I was
It took me about 6 months to figure out, oh, they are one and the same.
They are.
That's it.
It's the same as Amina being Wilhelmina.
I didn't know.
Mind you, she named herself that. All right, Pete. What?
And of course, I can't fail to introduce one of my favorite aunties, my favorite auntie, Ryan Denise.
You know you got two aunties.
I'm sorry.
Don't get weird.
We'll do no favorites.
Right, we don't do no favorites around here.
We'll do no favorites.
You know Jesus do the fire around here. Right.
You know what he did.
Right.
Don't get fired, nephew.
Of course,
No,
auntie Ryan Denise Stewart. And yeah, that's my ride or die right there. If I know I need
Can we
anything,
ride and live? Where we riding to?
we can ride and live. We can ride and die.
Can we ride and live?
Yo, ride or drive. I love
Ride or
it.
drive, I like that.
Ride or drive.
Oh
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm gonna have to keep that one. Keep that.
Yeah.
And it is definitely thanks in part to the contributions this amazing, wonderful woman has made over the years, and we still appreciate you to this day. We appreciate you for the work you plan to do in the foreseeable future. And yeah, that's my piece. That's my piece. That's my auntie Ryan.
Right.
Turn up.
So y'all don't see Pete on these things. We've been hosting these things for 5 years. Pete don't really come from behind the camera.
He just be
And I have to say this. I pulled them in because again, I want to introduce people to my family, to my crew, to the reason that I'm still able to do this, and that I even feel confident coming back and doing it, and even being just more and more my authentic self. So this young man did my theme song for me because he's from a community and a family of creatives. So he produced my theme music this year. We're also working on another venture.
Grammy's in. We got some designs coming out. Well, we got some that are ready. Just got to get them in the mix, in production.
So we've been doing designs for a minute. So we've got some of your favorite folks in sainthood and in Buddhism and all kinds of stuff, combining the two things, combining pop culture, I think, in a way that's familiar to us with what y'all grew up with, and our deepening understanding of spirituality across the spectrum. So he's been able, like, I'll throw an idea at him. I'm like, Cardi B is the patron saint of paid hoes. Can you make that into an image? And he's like, I got you. So this is where we at.
The patron saint of paid.
Where we are at.
Hey.
Trina is the patron saint of bad bitches. I don't see the issue.
Cause she the bad.
I don't see this you at all.
Hey.
So, when you come back, we're gonna talk about.
Let's see. What we got?
What intersection do you find yourself at right now? Because we're talking about creating and production, but you also don't live at home no more.
Yeah. I'm independence now.
Independence.
I'm out here being grown, doing grown people things.
Listen.
DEPENDENT.
Do you know what that means?
Do you know what that means, right? So we asked Pete to stay home after he graduated high school. He was like, I'm 18, I'm grown, I'm finna leave the nest. And I was like, why you gotta leave the nest? Your mama ain't never left the nest. Like, this grandma's house. Like, where you going? But we asked him to stay because Amina was getting ready to do high school. I felt like, I grew up and I had my, partners in crime, which were my siblings. And I was like, please stay just a little bit longer and help us help your sister through high school. And he did. And he had a choice. At any point, he could have left. He could have been like, yeah, this cool. But for extra years, like, I'm grown. I want to do things that I can't necessarily do at the house. And so he did that. So I think the intersection is, what happens when you get to spread your wings and fly.
All it really does for me, new experiences, new opportunities. And, I do my best. Well, yeah, I do my best to take advantage of them best way I can.
All right. Okay, so Z, if you want to hang around in the group, if there's any parting words,
I love y'all.
Release you from the interview part, and we're gonna carry this over for an hour.
Yeah, I want to watch. I mean, I love you all so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful to see you all and to have seen the conversation with Sam. And I'm looking forward to the intersection this year.
Yay!
Awesome.
Thanks so much, sis. I appreciate you.
I love you.
I love y'all. I love you, Ryan.
Love you too.
Y'all. Love you, Amina.
Love you too.
Love you, Pete. Love you, Malika. Love you, Sam. Bye, y'all.
Love you.
Peace. All right.
Bye.
Slide on in.
I don't even know how this shit work, y'all.
Listen, I'm over here trying to figure it out too.
Listen, we are of the analog generation.
Right. I'm like, how
I got in it, so I don't know how to get out.
I understand.
I don't even know. It's supposed to be a button or something.
Take myself out.
Hi. Oh,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
know how to do it.
There we go.
So yeah, Dan just went out. Nairobi just came in.
Hey.
And I'm also getting ready to pull in Spiritual Bestie.
This is lovely. It's a party.
You definitely can get in.
Happy
All right, so Amina, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and do this introduction.
Me again?
I mean, listen.
Okay.
I already did before.
All right. Look who's setting up. Okay, so
She came in first. I love it.
we got homegirls in the house. Listen, y'all are.
I'm gonna have to download
tell
it.
me nothing when it comes to my fam. Y'all can't tell me nothing when it comes to my sisters, to my girls, to my crew, to my tribe. Like, did you see how my girls slid on in here with the birthday music and said, "Get it," and we got it. Listen, let's do these introductions. Amina, introduce Nairobi.
Nairobi, producer, singer, dancer, actor, songwriter, director, creative in all areas, lover, giver,
Healer.
of herself and others, and of life, healer of life. That be nature, animals, humans. Nairobi is that. She is that. A black woman from infinity to infinity. One of my best friends. Nairobi. Awesome. Listen, the introductions, I don't know what podcast y'all be listening to, who y'all be kicking it with. Understand that the reason why we cut up this way is because we relate to people who hold us up this way. The same way that we introduce these people are the same way that they talk about us. So it's nothing for us to reciprocate that to them because it's authentic. So now let me introduce my homegirl, the spiritual bestie, my spiritual bestie, little sis, cutting up out here on the readings, giving people the business, and also helping us to learn, creating nurturing and nourishing environments for us, healing herself and being an example so that we can heal ourselves. Spiritualbestie.com, Sacred Journey Book Club. We done been through about 4 or 5 books. We're in the middle of a book now that had me gathering my whole soul this week as I was being reborn. You hear me? Yes. Pulling in all the pieces again. And I thank you for that. And I thank you. So, Nairobi, Spiritual Bestie, welcome to the conversation. We just gonna let a few people listen in. So, Nairobi, we're gonna start with you. And what intersection do you find yourself at in life right now?
Ooh, I feel like the biggest intersection is from child to adult, definitely. Trying to support myself through my artistic ventures and figuring out, okay, so like a budget is a thing that does exist, that is necessary, right? Especially in the field that I'm in, which is the arts. It's so important to have a foundation and not just neglect the business side, because there's a lot of artists that get taken advantage of just because they don't know the business side. You know, you gotta eat, simply. So I feel like that is the biggest intersection. And then, of course, I have the artistic intersection. So trying to figure out my career as an actor, dancer, singer, songwriter, producer, and navigating people, and also a model, because that's why I'm in New York right now, doing a job. So it's a lot of different things that I'm doing right now, and it's a lot of different intersections and trying to navigate people who say, oh, you can only do one thing, or you can only be a dancer, you can only be an actor, you can only be this, this, and this. But I really identify myself as a creator. And no matter what avenue, no matter what type of pictures I use, in a sense, I have to create. So that's the intersection I'm trying to figure out right now.
Awesome, amazing. So when you come back and we have our hour-long conversation and we expand on what that intersection looks like, I really am looking forward to getting into a major decision that you made this year. If you want to talk about it now, we can give the people a taste. Otherwise, you can come back and we can just spend the whole hour on that. But one of the reasons why I invited you specifically was because you called us one day with this big decision, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had figured out at that age. And I might have gotten here sooner and it may have looked differently than what it looks like now. So everything worked out how it was supposed to, which is what's going to happen for you.
Yeah, so recently I just decided to leave college, and every single person I talk to, it seems like it's like, what? You did what? Because you need a degree, and you need this, and you need that. And so that's definitely something that I want to talk about when I come back on the podcast, is all these limiting beliefs that we have on life itself. You're not going to die if you don't have a college degree. You're not going to die if you don't have a high school degree. I am proof I'm alive. You can pinch me. You know, like, you're not going to end up homeless on the street, all these things that they tell you, just because you don't have a college degree. And for me, especially the institution I was in, just being an artist, it's like you can just move to a city and take classes and start auditioning. The most experience that you're going to get, to me, as an artist, is experience. Because school and institution is not going to teach you how to budget. They're not going to teach you how to negotiate price points. They're not going to teach you, you know, how to negotiate agents and jobs and all these. They don't teach you that. You know, they teach you great tools. And I have some great tools in my toolbox as an actor and as a dancer, singer, whatever. I've got a lot of practice under my belt, but like I said before, the business side is very important. And it took me a long journey to that point of being like, you know what? I don't need a piece of paper to validate my existence as an artist and as a creative. Because even when I talk to people now, and I'm like, oh yeah, because I left school maybe like 3 months ago, and that's when I started supporting myself through art. And even when I tell people now, like, oh yeah, I left school to pursue my dreams, and they're like, what? Well, it's going to be easier with a college degree, and it's going to be easier with this. And to my personal opinion, I just don't think that's true. I have friends that graduate with a bachelor's degree that can't even get a job at Whole Foods. So I'm like,
Listen,
that's the reality that we live in. So it's especially having those friends who like do have a college degree that can't even get an entry level job really made me realize, oh, okay, all the lies, all the limiting beliefs that we have about the system and how it works, just to keep us inside of a box, just to keep us in a type of ceiling of following our dreams, even in the art community, even something that might be against the grain or against society in that type of way. Because being an artist is unconventional in nature. You know, you're not getting an office job. It's not a 9-to-5. So even in that, there's a type of ceiling that you hit about society. Oh, well, you can only get jobs this way. You can only get jobs that way. Or you have a better chance if you have a degree, which is not true. It's just simply not true.
yeah.
So, especially as an artist. So that's definitely something that I want to touch on for other creatives and just other people in their field. There's a lot of things that you don't need a degree for. There's a lot of things that you can just go get different certifications for things specifically you want to do. Tech jobs, business jobs. Go get the education that you feel like you need to. I feel like people really need to start.
Listen, I feel like you intersected across all 4 of our squares now. Like I'm seeing everybody on the screen, and I'm like, yeah, you done intersected for all of us now.
I thought I heard an organ playing.
Right. I was like, we need to pass the plate. Like we need to. Right. Like do what you want for life, free of charge.
Yeah.
For real.
Absolutely.
So.
And don't let, this is the last thing I'll say, I'll pass the baton, but don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Because does not exist. Failing does not exist. It only exists in your mind. The feeling that you see, it only exists in your mind. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, and you want to get that, you don't give up. You hit a door, you hit a no, you turn around and you go ask somebody else. You ask and you shall receive. So if you hit a no, just go ask somebody else. Just go try something else. If you want to be at the top, you got to keep trying, keep doing, keep grinding. Never give up on your dream, ever. Because I promise you will make it. You will make it.
Hey, wait a minute. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Lord Jesus.
The wisdom.
20 years old.